Alright, welcome back everyone. I hope you're doing well today. Shout out to all the subscribers. Big up to anybody new locked in. Alright, Anthony Joshua takes on Robert the Nightmare, the Nordic Nightmare Helenius. He had a bit of a nightmare in his last fight. But he steps in. I think it's a decent replacement, to be honest with you. And actually, I wasn't even thinking about him when I did a video about him, AJ possibly fighting Hrgovic. I wasn't being deadly serious, but I had not crossed my mind about Helenius, and I come to think of it, I actually quite like this selection. You know, he's obviously just coming off of a loss of Wilder. They're trying to match AJ up with Wilder. He's tall, he's got power, there is a threat there, you know. He can punch, and he really believes in himself too. He's got coming off a couple of good performances against Kalnacki, and then I don't know if I think he had a fight right before Wilder or right after. But obviously he got stopped dramatically against Wilder. And shout out to Outmatch Boxing too. I just watched his video on you know, some things Helenius was doing well, and it was interesting. He always breaks down some film studies that I hadn't thought of before. Really good channel. And but in terms of how the fight will go, look, AJ, this is another situation where I really don't think he has to really like look good. He just needs to get the win, obviously, because of the Wilder fight. That's the main goal. Would we like him to look good? Would it be great? Yeah, absolutely. Will he look good? I think so. I watched the Jermaine Franklin fight again, just the highlights, and you know, there was some stuff AJ was doing nicely, and like I like how he's sticking to his boxing. And I like how he does appear to be like, just the impression I got where he was just thinking a little bit too hard. You know, he can't think as naturally as, you know, the Bud Crawfords and that. And I know I'm not trying to put him in that category. I'm just trying to give it an analogy of how a computer processor works, or the memory that you have. You know, they're talking about terabytes. AJ's at like 250 gigabytes, right? And when it fills up, if he's close to having that orange ball, you know, when Max have, where it just like freezes. I feel like AJ's just on that, where his computer's memory is almost on full. Because I was watching his footwork. I've been very critical of his footwork, but mainly when that was against Usyk. But even against Franklin, it's okay. But it seemed to me like he was just so concentrating on what was going on, and I get that. He's got a new trainer, he's got new guidelines to do. He's got a savvy, aggressive, tough fighter in front of him with a good chin. He's got a lot of pressure on him. I get all that, but it just looks like he's working really hard in there, you know, just to think his way through. And you know, I'd like to see him, you know, just fight a bit more relaxed and have better footwork. It was a bit wide at times, and it was a bit close together, a bit wide, a bit close together. You know, it's almost like it wasn't even the thought. He was just focusing on the basics, which is good. But those 12 rounds would have done him the world of good. They would have done him the world of good. I think that was a really good fight when they picked Franklin. I was actually big in that fight up. I was like, I think this is a good fight. I think he's gonna get some good rounds in. He's not just gonna blast the dude out. And I think, you know, he'll be able to implement any of the just imagine if he'd have wiped out Franklin in 1 or 2 rounds, and he didn't get the 10 extra rounds of what Derek James was telling them to do, and then look back and go, okay, we could have done this better. You're right, okay, yeah, and then we move on and we do it inspiring, and then we bring it into this fight. That's the development stages that you wouldn't have got if he'd have just blasted him out. So, you know, does he need that against Helenius? You know, it wouldn't be a bad idea, because, you know, Wilder is, again, he's a tall fighter, and it would get good experience to fight somebody. I know they're saying Helenius is not, he's not 6'9". No way. He's about 6'7", I think. He didn't look that much bigger than AJ. But whatever, either way, Wilder's big too. So it's good preparation for him in that respect, right? But Helenius, one thing Helenius does do, he does leave himself wide open down here. I'd love to see AJ go to the body, especially with that right hand. I know Derek James loves to jab and gets his fighters to jab the high guard up there and slam right hand bodies or jabs as well. I'd love to see AJ hammer that body, but with straight right hands. Step in, jab upstairs like that, keep him occupied, boom, come in with to the belly. It's not necessarily something AJ's known for, but I think it's there for Helenius. And I haven't watched loads of film, and like sometimes I've been making so many videos that I've just like, I haven't had enough time to really sit down and watch an hour's worth of Helenius clips. Not that I would want to, but I usually like to, just to give it an idea about what we're dealing with. But look, obviously Johan De Woper wiped him out with that right hand up to the head. He's been knocked out a few times. AJ should be taking care of business, all right, and I think he will. I think he'll work nicely behind the jab, fight him like he did Franklin, not overcommit, and, you know, be defensively responsible, but stick behind the jab and send that right hand in, but not fall in on his shots, and be responsible. And then when the openings come, and they will, because Helenius drops his hands a lot, take him out with probably a right hand. Do you know what I mean? But I would like to see that right hand to the belly. It's definitely there. There's definitely a shot there for sure. We'll see. But this is just a quick one. I wanted to get a video out about this because I'm excited about the fight. I actually am, and thankfully it's not on pay-per-view. That would have been a bad move, I think, if they'd have done that. They'd have really pissed off a lot of people, as they've been doing. So it's all about getting their brand back. AJ getting a win and a big fight with Wilder by the end of the year. We have got some sensational fights to look forward to. Just got to make sure that these guys get through. But anyway, that's it from me. Peace and love. Have a great weekend, whatever you do, man.